We're in Iraq for oil. We're looking at attacking Iran for oil. And until we change our international policies, which quit using war as an instrument of policy and change our energy policies, we will continue to repeat this sorry cycle.
It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
Good morning, slaves, and welcome to another sedition of It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine, the show that puts its balls on the table. I am your host, the Stimulator, and in capitalist pig news, loads of greedy motherfuckers ate a heaping bowl of cock this week when stock markets worldwide continued their downward spirals towards financial Armageddon. Even the spinmeisters couldn't hide how fucked they really are. Remember this douchebag from a few months ago?
I think this is sort of a healthy retracement that a lot of investors have been on the sidelines waiting for.
Well, right about now, Homeslide is changing his tune.
Call it 2 months ago, we were pretty convinced this was going to be well contained in the subprime marketplace, but unfortunately we're starting to see some creep into traditional mortgages, and Countrywide Financial came out today and let us know that they're having difficulties getting funding for credible borrowers, and that causes a problem. That's what comes with a credit crunch.
Speaking of crunch, no, that ain't motherfucking Kansas, Toto. Brooklyn and Manhattan got bitch slapped by a tornado this month, destroying homes and flooding subways. This prompted Major Bloomberg to raise a terror alert to orange, because, well, when shit goes wrong in the NYC, there's only one man you can blame. I just love the motherfucking B-boys. Let's play another classic.
What's the time? It's time to get ill. What's the time? It's time to get ill. So what's the time? It's time to get ill.
Time to get ill indeed. North Korea got hit with massive rains which flooded much of the food-starved nation's farmlands. President Bush was asked if he would aid the godless communist nation, and Bush responded, "Yes, we'll send FEMA."
The 10 hottest years ever measured, they've all occurred in the last 14 years. The hottest of all was 2005.
If you've been watching this show for a while, you might remember my New Year's revolutions. One of them was to grow my own food. Well, even though I have no hands or legs, I've done it. Check this shit out. Not bad for a city slicker. I became part of a community garden, and I get this puny plot where I grow some veggies and shit. Check this motherfucking tomato out. Here's some peas. And I forgot what the fuck these are. The whole experience has been fun and entertaining, and there's all kinds of bullshit gossip that the old ladies that spend most of their time here get into. For instance,
so-and-so uses Miracle-Gro.
Or,
that weird guy over there doesn't clip his grass.
All in all, I highly recommend it. I know, if my life depended on it, I'd be totally fucked. But it's a good start, and hey, maybe I'll learn how to grow my own pot. For those of you who don't know, well, we're running out of oil. We've been running out of oil since we first started extracting the shit from the motherfucking soil. But now it seems we're sucking the shit like a coke whore at 3 AM. Oil futures are already going for $100 a barrel. That means that everything we do is about to get very fucking expensive. And those of us who are poor are going to have to learn to live differently. Like growing your own veggies and learning how to operate a shotgun to protect said veggies. To talk more about this clusterfuck, I spoke with Gregory Greene, director of Escape from Suburbia. Hey Greg, how the fuck are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So, are we totally fucked?
It looks as if we are pretty fucked. If you look at what's coming at us with shifting climatic changes, climate change, that presents enough challenges for us. But we have other problems that are converging. The problem we deal with in our documentary is the coming oil scarcity, the coming oil crisis, as world oil production peaks and then begins to decline. Numbers coming out of the International Energy Agency this past week in July are verifying the thesis of the peak oil community that this is coming at us pretty quickly. But on top of that, we've got a likely financial crisis coming, which will fuck things up.
Gregory Greene, our green technologies dissolution.
When you look at green energies and the kinds of strategies we're going to have to employ to kick our addiction to oil, the biggest scam going is that we're going to be doing this transition away from fossil fuels in the same kind of economic environment that we have now. We've lived through the 7 years of the fastest and largest expansion in the equity markets in history. And so we're living at the end of a bubble, an oil bubble, but also a short-term financial bubble. So the question to me is how we're going to finance the different green energies that are available to us. We're going to be doing this transition in a crisis, in what James Howard Kunstler calls, I think, the long emergency. We're going to be living through a variation of the long emergency. So I think, you know, one question is how the hell are we going to afford to make this transition? Everyone's invested in an infrastructure that's based on oil and natural gas. But the biggest scam in terms of supposedly green alternatives is probably biofuels. We don't have the land mass on the planet to significantly shift from fossil fuels to biofuels, to ethanol and cellulosic ethanol. We'll have to switch huge crops that are feeding people to, you know, a very inefficient way of making, you know, fuel for our private cars. It's asinine.
What are some, shall we say, canaries in the coal mine of the coming energy crunch? There's that word again, crunch.
Canaries in the coal mine, that's a really good way of phrasing the question, because there are so many signs sort of beneath the surface that indicate that we're approaching peak oil. I think probably the biggest canary in the coal mine is the rapid, and this, anybody can relate to this because we've all seen it in the news, this rapid conversion to unconventional oils like the tar sands and ethanol. That this would come about so rapidly and get, you know, so much support from politicians is a big canary in the coal mine for me. Now they would counter and come back and say, well, we're trying to break our addiction to Middle Eastern oil and to, you know, release fewer carbon emissions. That argument falls flat on its face when it comes to corn-based ethanol. It consumes more fossil fuels than you actually get out of the ethanol at the end of the day if you look at the entire process from beginning to end. And it also releases more carbon, low-level ozone as well than regular, you know, oil.
So if we are so fucked, what the fuck do we do?
I think the number one thing that people need to do as they're preparing for this crisis and the lifestyle they're going to be leading after is to get out of debt. It's kind of ironic for us to say as filmmakers because we had to go in debt to make this film. But for most people, that means paying off their credit cards and you know, if they have second and third mortgages, get rid of those. You need to insulate yourself and your families from, you know, the results of a possible, you know, a further decline in the American dollar and you know, changes to the standard of living that we've all gotten used to over our short lifetimes. So prepare for less materially and really try to reach out and brush up your social skills. We're going to need to work on the community level to get along a lot better than we have.
Who says fuck better, me or Howard Kunstler?
Who says fuck better, the stimulator or James Howard Kunstler? I'm pretty partial to James Howard Kunstler. I don't know of anybody who can say cluster fuck quite like he says it. Maybe if you said cluster fuck more, stimulator.
Clusterfuck.
Question, who fucks better or who?
And that about does it for this edition of It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine. To find out more about Gregory Greene and his film Escape from Suburbia, go to escapefromsuburbia.com. To send me composting tips or good rumors to spread in my community garden, email me, miraclegrow@submedia.tv. Grow your own.